Victory is very, very sweet. Victory is so sweet. So, now that my stream crashed and burned for a second, we started over. I think I needed to turn my resolution down to make sure that, we're streaming in 720, not 1080 tonight, because my internet is very spotty. So the last thing I want to do is, give you guys a bunch of buffering. I think we can all stomach 720 for my base cam or whatever, as opposed to 1080. We can make it work here today. Anyways, what are you going to say now? How do you discredit this team now? Are there flaws? 100%. Every team has flaws this season. But how can you tell me and watch that game and tell me how this Bears team is not legit? How are they not legit? You know what? Like, it is just like, I don't know. The entire city wins today. I mean, this is just unbelievable. I mean, sorry for me to be just completely silent for the last, minute here. The Bears did it. And guess what? That, again, considering the circumstances and how this season ends for the Packers, it really does feel like out of all teams, the Chicago frickin' Bears are going to get Matt LaFleur fired. I genuinely think that Matt LaFleur's time is over. Life is amazing, Vinny. Life is amazing. What a day for Chicago. Bulls win. Blackhawks win. Alex Bregman signs with the Cubs in the middle of a Bears playoff game, which they are getting creamed in. And then the Bears win in a playoff game over the Green Bay Packers. I don't care about seeding. I don't care about house money, who's the better team. I don't care about anything that you can say to try and discredit this win. At the end of the day, who is playing next week and who is going home tonight? The Bears are playing next week. The Packers are out. It is over. And again, I will say it again, because I'm having a bit spotty internet, so I don't know if this actually went through. After that performance, of all teams, the team that knocks Matt LaFleur back down to the unemployment line are the Chicago Bears, a team that he won 11 in a row to start his tenure as the Green Bay Packers head coach. Actually, no, yeah, it was 11 in a row. He won 11 in a row against the Bears to start his tenure, but he's lost 3 of his last 4 to finish with a 12-3 record all time against the Bears. But in a game that meant everything for the division, lost. In a game that meant everything because it's the playoffs, lost. And they were up by multiple scores, dominating the entire game, but could not finish. Matt LaFleur, I really do think he's headed to the unemployment line, and I am so happy that the Bears are the team that knock him down a peg and knock the Packers down a peg. Because if Matt LaFleur gets fired, who knows what the hell happens with the Green Bay Packers, who they lose, who stay, blah, 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 blah. Does Jeff Hafley get a head coaching job? Because honestly, there could be a chance that we're sitting here in August and looking at the Green Bay Packers as the weakest team in the NFC North. And I know that's a stretch, and I don't think that might be the case. I don't think that's going to be the case, but, it very well could be the case. And that brings a big, giant smile to my face. To think that Caleb Williams, Iceman, and the Chicago Bears flipped the entire story of this rivalry in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Yes, 3 weeks. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to Chicago, because they were given the best gift of all. 2 wins against the Green Bay Packers. I was watching the game with my brother. I was, and the rest of my family. There will be a live reaction video. Again, I have a lot of footage. I started recording after the Olamide Zaccheaus touchdown. Funnily enough, my brother, we were coming back from commercial after that touchdown, and my brother asked me, when is it time? And I'm like, on my phone out, it's like, is it time? I'm like, it's time. And that is going to be an experience and a moment that I will cherish for the rest of my life with my family. Not just my brother, but my mom and my dad. It's going to be something that I'm going to look back on very fondly, when I get older, and the inevitability of, my parents not being here with us and with me. It's going to be one of those things that, I'm going to look back on and, yeah. Merry Christmas, Chicago. What a gift for Bears win, and Jed Hoyer, Jed Claus delivers another deal. I said when it was 21-3, it's not time to panic, but it's up there. It's never over. I was low-key a little bit, panicking a little bit. I was definitely panicking. I'm not going to shy away from that. I was definitely panicking a little bit. But I also knew that the Bears had played better in the second half in the last month of the season. They had played better in the second half against the Packers each time they had played. I knew it was like, look, halftime adjustments have to be the name of the game here. If the defense is still struggling, but they're not letting up any points, that's what matters. But the offense, they're not even guaranteed 4 possessions. I was genuinely like, I don't even know if they're going to get 4 possessions with how much the Packers held the ball in the first half. So I really did think that the Chicago Bears were going to have to score on every drive. A touchdown on every drive. The Bears dominated in that third quarter. Only scored 3 points. So, it says a lot about how things have gone. Yeah. I think Dennis Allen is one of the MVPs this game for how he got the defense ready for the second half. I've seen a lot of people talk about Dennis Allen specifically as like he could be a one and done, get him out of the town. I think it's a talent issue. I think the defensive struggles have been a talent issue. Because I genuinely think like Dennis Allen is probably scheming this thing correctly. The problem is they can't execute. They can't get pressure on the quarterback, thus leading to clean pockets and having to protect and defend receivers for 5 to 6 seconds. And, I don't care if you're Darrell Revis, Ed Reed, you know, prime Revis Island, prime Stephon Gilmore. I'm trying to think of these other great corners. Prime Jalen Ramsey. You know, you name it, right? You're not. It's not happening. That's not happening. Someone is going to get open. Kyler Gordon was so bad tonight. He came through clutch in a couple moments. Nearly had a pick at the goal line. Should have picked it at the goal line at the end of the game, but it doesn't matter because the ball hit the ground. It was the last play anyways. He was targeted a lot. And it makes a lot of sense because he has not played a lot this season. So, you know, it's just Kyler Gordon was outworked because he's played 3 games all year. And, you know, he's still dealing with a bit of an injury. So I'm not surprised that he was bad tonight. I was surprised that he didn't show up until the second quarter, like actually enter the game until like the second quarter. I was surprised that Nick McLeod was the starter and he was burnt on the first touchdown pass to Christian Watson. Yeah, like, I don't know why, but yeah. So that's the deal there. Sorry, I'm kind of double checking and making sure the stream's all good as well. So let me know how things are going. I'm gonna go back here. One question: what's going on with the Hawks goalie situation right now? They got a flu bug going around right now, and Spencer Knight and Arvid Soderblom seem to have both caught it. But hey, Drew Comesso shutout against the Nashville Predators. I will 100% take that. Let's go, Drew. Ice Hogs legend. So, yeah. Anyways, I think it's probably appropriate to get involved. Let me double check here. I'm going to retweet a couple things. Good, Better, Best just dropped. Good, Better, Best it just dropped. All right, we're going to end the stream doing that. We're going to end the stream watching that. Hold up. Let's see. Where is... All right, let's get into the box score here. Let's see. Where is this? Here we go. Might have to do a little bit of adjusting here. Nope, it's framed correctly. Good. All right. Ugh. Jordan Love, 24 for 46. Let's see. Caleb Williams had a perfect 50% completion percentage, dude. And guess what? I don't think anyone cares. No one cares. Because he threw for 361 yards and won the game. 71 rate. It's not great, but 100 rate. The running offense was just not it tonight. It was not it for either side. It was the Packers got off to a good start running the football, and then it just clamped down in the second half. The running offense couldn't do anything. I mean, look at this. Josh Jacobs went for 2.9 a carry. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to be on a little bit. Josh Jacobs, 19 for 55, 2.9 a carry. A couple other rushers for the Packers, totaling up to 99 total rushing yards. The Bears had, DeAndre Swift wasn't amazing. 4.2 yards a carry and a touchdown. Kyle Monunga 8 for 27, 3.4 carry. The Bears only had one rush of 10 or more yards. Kyle Monunga and DeAndre Swift couldn't get either of them, which is insane. Yeah, let's see. Is that throw by Caleb Williams to Rome Odunze the best throw of his career? Dude, I've had this conversation with myself a couple of times over the last month. It started with the throw to DJ Moore in the end zone against Cleveland, which it might like from a pure talent standpoint and completion probability, all that wonderful stuff. It's either that throw against the Browns or that throw to Rome Odunze. Because the throw to DJ Moore was just circumstantial, on the money, still a total dot. It's those three throws, for sure. Honestly, it might be this one. Like when you consider the circumstances, the moment, and the throw, yeah, it's this one. It is. It's the best. It's the best throw of his career. From a pure talent standpoint and just sheer difficulty, I don't know. I'd have to really look at some of these again, but that's just the way it goes. And so, yeah. I'm trying to think. I can't believe it. Oh, absolutely. Colston Loveland has become one of the premier targets for this team. I was going to mention it while I was talking about the game with my family after the game. The chemistry that Caleb and Colston have built, it's insane. Colston, 21 years old. 8 catches, 137 yards. 17.1 average. He got double the targets than any other Bears receiver. Had the longest throw of the game, 29 yards. It was insane. Jeez. Oh. I just can't. And Colston Loveland, when you talk about a tight end that can just is a dog, and just the way that Colston Loveland has developed this season, I can't believe, go back and watch the draft video that I made this season. There is a clip of me in my gut reaction to this team drafting Colston Loveland. I was not happy for about 2 minutes and realized I did not want to get a tight end at the start of the draft because I was like, I like Cole Kmet. He was incredibly underused, and I think he's a good tight end. Clearly, Colston Loveland's the better player. Clearly. Cole Kmet is great for a second tight end, and I think that if they can keep him around, I think that'd be great. But clearly, Cole Kmet is not the top tight end on the team. And having those two guys, I think, is it. You look at the 2-point conversion play to Colston Loveland that brought the game within 3 points. That was unbelievable. The setup was literally Colston Loveland on the left, Cole Kmet, Durham Smythe on the right. Literally 3 tight ends, no wide receivers. I thought they were running it. Obviously not. Shout out to Lamade Zacchaeus for getting the touchdown and hanging out. Dude, seriously. It's unfortunate because Olamide Zaccheaus is not going to be back on the team next year. He's just not. It's clear he's been relegated to, wide receiver 4, arguably wide receiver 5 on this team, with how Jade Walker's played towards the end of the year. And with, of course, Jade Walker not being available to go, or I think he's a healthy scratch. I think you can only have so many receivers ready, and so I don't think Walker was available for the game. Regardless, he didn't play. Walker was inactive. Zaccheaus will take that playoff touchdown. It's his first career playoff touchdown. Wisconsin sports was not getting another postseason win against Chicago sports. Seriously. Again, go back to watching that Game 2 video for the Cubs-Brewers series. I was devastated. I was sitting there because we are, in the middle of their season. I think it was right before they... let's see. That game happened about right when they played... it was probably their bye week, I think, was when they were playing in the playoffs. I think that's what it was. Let's see. Yes, it was. In between the bye week. So they had just pulled a win out of their you-know-what, beating the Las Vegas Raiders. And they had lost Game 2 to the Milwaukee Brewers. I was sitting there like, ugh. It's such a depressing video because I genuinely was sitting there like, dude, I don't know if this team, when is the city ever going to win a big game? When is it going to happen again? Because when the Bulls and Bucks played in the playoffs like 5 years ago, it was nothing. It was all Bucks. This Brewers-Cubs playoff series, it was like the Cubs won the 2 games at home, but when they had a chance in Game 5, they lost. When they had a chance in Game 2 to really even up the series, they got destroyed. So it's like they were 2 big wins, but, not truly, like those games that you talk about for a while. It was like not necessarily gimme wins, but, they were wins when you're trailing in the series, trying to force and stave off elimination. It is. And then they lost the elimination game. And the Bears beat the Packers week 16. And now you have this game. I can't even fathom this being a reality. Smythe made a catch. Cole didn't make a catch in this game, and it sucks because he had one that he dropped and another target. I want to see him get at least 1 catch next week, regardless, because who knows if he's going to be on the team, for another playoff runner. Defensively, Jaquan Brisker leads the way in the total tackles. Both Brisker and Edmonds lead with solo tackles. Austin Booker with a sack. When was the sack? When was the sack? I'm sorry, I'm trying to recall this. When the hell was the sack? Do they get... I don't know. Jeez, my internet's just terrible right now. And Alex Bregman to the Cubs, it might be an overpay, but it's a move that needed to happen. I love the fit. He's going to be a big part. I agree. It might be a bit much to pay for him, but they needed a third baseman. I think that's the best move that they could have made. Again, probably a little bit much that they're giving up for him, but wrong way. There we go. I want to move this over so I can actually sit fully on my chair and have this be on the side over here, and I don't know. I think it's gonna be a big part, yeah. But that'll come in April. We'll see what happens there. I'm gonna turn my fan here, so pardon the loud the constant fan noise, because that's just gonna be a thing that we're gonna deal with here. Try to bring my mic actually down so that it's only picking up my voice here. Yeah. So 3 more wins in the Super Bowl. Look, if I'm being honest, I don't think they win next week. I just, there are too many holes. There are too many injuries. I think that they didn't necessarily... They went out and won this game. Let's get that straight. They went out and won this game. But as the competition again continues to increase, they last. Honestly, I think the Rams are the better team than the Eagles. Of course, we'll have to see how they play in the playoffs here. How both teams play. I'd rather face Philadelphia because they've had some real struggles this year, and the Bears have already beat them in their building, and now they got to come to Chicago. I think they can win both games against the Rams and the Eagles. I think they have the guts to do it. I just don't think it happens, unfortunately. I think that it's just kind of their time to bow out. If they win one more game, that's amazing. But yeah, that might be true. But this time I'll believe in any game. You're right. That's what this game proves to me. This team is, you can never count this team out. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams can never be counted out of any game. There are so many. I was, looking at stuff. Outlets were already, before the game was even over, were already posting about odds for Seahawks Packers next week. They were already talking about that. But clearly, that ain't happening. Seahawks are playing either they're getting a divisional opponent. The Seahawks are getting a divisional opponent. They're getting the Rams or the 49ers. The Bears are getting the Rams or the Eagles. I want to go through this play-by-play here. The drive summary. I want to see this, man. Because this is unbelievable. It was just bad. They scored a field goal to open. I was like, look, this day with my family I'll never forget. And I'll never forget this day either. It's a very, very stressful day. I've been trying my best all week to not think about this game because I was getting nervous and getting just a lot of thoughts in my head right whenever I thought about it. I tried to focus on other things. We're good. All right, we're good. Lost connection for a second. Hold up. Just make sure we're good. All right. As long as PC is at Barrack game, we don't lose. Hey, it was at the game last week and they lost, but yeah, no, PCA. It's funny. I saw a short video that PCA was with Caleb right after the game because he was on the sideline. It seems like those guys are, pretty good buds. Anyways, the first half was a nightmare. Touchdown. Bears turned the ball over on downs twice. Well, technically they turned the ball over on downs 3 times. Caleb threw a pick on 4th down. And then the Packers had a missed field goal to end the half. Ben Johnson took a timeout. They iced Brandon McManus. He missed the 55-yarder. He missed it. Third quarter, 3 punts for the Packers. Bears get a field goal, and then they have the 4th down, problem at the goal line. It's 21-6 going in the 4th quarter, dude. It's a 15-point game. Scored a field goal, too. It was... this game proved hopefully this ages well, but you just can't trade DJ Moore this offseason. You just can't. Has he had some effort problems? Sure. Had there been moments where it feels like he's not a non-factor? Sure. But in the two biggest games of the year against the Green Bay Packers, he has shown up. He has come through in some of the biggest moments. I mean, look at this fourth quarter summary. Field goal drive, punt, touchdown, 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 missed field goal, touchdown, end of game. Three consecutive touchdown drives after not having one all game. I just can't believe this, man. I just cannot believe this. This is actually reality. This isn't a dream. The Bears won a game they were down 18 points in. Their quarterback led 3 touchdown drives in a row that all took 2.5 minutes or less, mind you. Like they were scoring pretty quickly. Like, I can't believe this. Like, again, we've had this conversation several times after these types of games. After these comeback wins, it's not sustainable. This won't work. And, blah, 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 in the playoff. Like, I want to see them beat teams, and not have it come down to the very end. And I do too. But I think that's a next year problem. I think that's a thing that we can hope for next year, because clearly this team is not a Super Bowl team. They can continue to find ways to win, and if they do, I don't know how it'll happen. But we're getting to, besides the Cubs World Series and the Hawks 3 Cups is the best day of my life. Cubs World Series will be the best day of my sports life for sure. Just for the fact of break, that was the game that got me into baseball. I was in the first semester, my first freshman year of high school. So, right, and then unfortunately, the Hawks dynasty was what got me into hockey. I truly watched the last Cup run. I was watching every now and then when they would play. Before, I don't remember watching really anything until after they won the 2013 Stanley Cup. But yeah, I remember watching the 2015 Cup run. That was the major thing that I watched. And I remember I didn't even watch every game. I was watching games when I could. And I remember as well, again, because I was 12, 13. 13. Yes, I would have. Right. Yeah, 12 to 13 during that run. It's like when we went to triple overtime against the Anaheim Ducks, I only watched, I think, the first overtime. Or no, we watched the second overtime, because I remember watching Andrew Shaw headbutt that puck into the net and then having it get waved off. I remember the second overtime ended, and I had to go to sleep. Because if I remember correctly, it was a school night. So I was like, gotta go to sleep. Can't go. Yep. And then I found out we won the next day. Yeah. No, that I remember watching that run. And I remember watching the 2016 World Series Game 7, because I had a couple of things I was taking care of before then. But I remember watching the entirety of Game 7. The entirety. And that was, again, the game that got me into baseball. But this is definitely the best moment I've had in a long time. The best moment as a Bears fan. It's been a lot of misery. A lot of misery. We were this close. Literally this close to getting a playoff win 7 years ago against the Philadelphia Eagles. and the double doink happens, and it sets the franchise back. They backed their way into the playoffs in 2020. The ball goes right through Javon Wims' hands. The game's a blowout from there on. And the Saints used that exact play the next week against Tampa, and it works. So, yeah. And it's been a real interesting journey since. That's been documented here online. And now we're here. The last 10 years, we were always the team that lost these games, and just now that we're finding ways to win like this, it's just a breath of fresh air. Absolutely. I've seen the Bears blow games like the way the Packers blew this game way too many times over the last 10 years, especially over the last couple of seasons. With that bumbling idiot Matt Eberflus, a head coach, which he got fired in Dallas and absolutely deserved. That defense was god-awful. Matt Eberflus will be out of the NFL after this year. I can guarantee that. Here. Hang on a second. Doing something here. I'm just keeping tabs on the stream here. My phone's getting close to dead. So, the game versus the Browns, the game versus the Vikings, the game versus the Lions. So many games that we lost. Finally, we're winning on this side. Yeah, I wanted to make this video last year after Eberflus got fired. I never did. I still have all the material I would need to prove my point. But I was thinking about making a video about what I was going to call the Chicago Bears disaster piece, about Matt Eberflus' tenure and how much of a, disaster it was. Specifically talking about, again, multi-score leads blown in the fourth quarter. Games where the team had the ball down one score with a chance to tie or win and failed. All these close games. All these games where this team was trailing in a half, couldn't win trailing in a half, couldn't beat teams with winning in opponents, couldn't beat teams on the road. The more that I think about those couple of years with Matt Eberflus, the more I'm just, I can't believe I got through it. The unfortunate, what's funny about the Cody Parkey thing is I remember, I think it was the week before. I think it was week 18 against then week 17 against the Minnesota Vikings. And Cody Parkey doinks either a field goal or an extra point. I forget exactly what it was. Doinks one. And I remember, I think I was watching with my family, but I want to say my dad said something about, in frustration, dude, if this comes down to a kick in the playoffs, I'm going to be super nervous and everything. And I'm like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And then it comes down to a kick in the playoffs, and yeah. So, there were warning signs with Cody Parkey before the double doink. It wasn't like he was money all season and just missed. He had a problem with being a post magnet all year. And he will forever be the king of the doink. So much so that he had a double doink. Anyways, I'm gonna peruse through my likes real quick. See if there's anything worth talking about. He turned out to be solid in Cleveland. He did. Did he? Well, and here, Let's see. He was okay. Good Lord, my internet is just terrible tonight. In Cleveland, shut up. I know my ad blocker's on. Get an ad blocker. 19 for 22. Funnily, yeah. Literally his worst season was with the Bears in 2018. Holy. Anyways. Do you think Sam Darnold will finally win a big game next week? I think he does. And it doesn't necessarily have to come from him. Like he's not in a position, I think, where he needs to go out and win that game. He's got a great defense behind him. He's got a great play caller. Like I think Sam Darnold will find a way to win, and especially with how good that team looked against the San Francisco 49ers Week 18. I feel pretty confident that they can win a game, but at the same time, the NFC West has been an absolute dogfight all year long. They house the three best teams in the NFC. You know, the Seahawks are getting a tough draw regardless of who they're playing, you know? So, yeah. We're going to... Honestly, let me go ahead and just start reading off some stats that I took from the Prime post-game show. Let's see. All right. Caleb Williams, seventh comeback win when trailing in final 2 minutes this season. Most all time. There's that. That's just that one again. Again. Caleb Williams, the first Bears quarterback to win twice against the Packers in the same season since 1991, when it was done by Jim Harbaugh. The Chicago Bears have now won three of their last 4 games against the Packers after they had lost their previous 11. If you could choose to be in the booth and call a game with one current NFL announcer, who would you choose? I could choose my analyst and call an NFL game. That's a really good question, actually. Shoot. Who would I pick? I have one analyst that I can pick to be in the booth with me while I call a game. That is a toss-up. Honestly, I might also pick Greg Olsen. Either him, it would be between Greg Olsen, Tom Brady, and I really love what Tom Brady has done this season. I mean, I've had to, he's done 5 Bears games with Kevin Burkhardt. But their chemistry is so good. Like, it's been actually, like, working out so well this year for Tom Brady. But, like, it's probably going to be Greg Olsen, Tom Brady. I really like what J.J. Watt has done this season. Yeah. It'd be probably one of those 3. I mean, you could also go with someone who has just been bouncing around with play-by-play guy after play-by-play guy, Daryl Johnston. Been with Fox for forever. It feels like he's with a new crew every, 3 or 4 years. Yeah, probably one of those four. Greg Olsen would probably be my pick if I had to pick just one. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, this was honestly something that I relished in reading. Adrian Hill, besides the fumble that the Bears clearly recovered, officiated a good game with his crew. Which fumble? Which one? There was like... Are you talking about the kickoff return? Tony Correnti did... Well, Tony Correnti's been is retired. Tony Correnti's been retired. And that debacle in Pittsburgh was just god-awful. To the point where even Pittsburgh fans were like, holy cow, that's some ref ball. The Loveland fumble. No, the Bears recovered two Bears fumbles. Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet both fumbled the ball twice, or both fumbled the ball in this game. The Bears recovered both of them. They overruled them to be incomplete passes. That's why I was like, which one? Yeah, it was more that it was less of who recovered. It was more that the receiver didn't complete the process of the catch. And I don't know. You can argue that Loveland got a third, punched it out, but I don't really, I'm not too worried about it because I don't remember. Again, I gotta go watch this game again. But I don't remember if that, how that drive ended up anyways. But yeah, Caleb Williams won a playoff game before Justin Herbert did. And he's thrown two more fourth quarter playoff touchdowns than Joe Burrow ever has. We're talking about some of these quarterbacks that have been highly praised by plenty of people in the media. They've had their own criticisms levied against them, Justin Herbert specifically, just for the fact that he hasn't won a playoff game. It's interesting. Let's see. Biggest sequence of events in Chicago sports since that early November morning back in 2016. Alex Cohen hits it right on the net and right on the nose. Absolutely. Also, if any of you are looking for something really interesting, football related to watch, God, I clicked on the image and it's just taking forever to load because my internet sucks. Holy cow. Yeah, if you're looking for a good video to watch about football, this video was great. I watched it a couple weeks ago. Great stuff. So, yeah. Yep, here's this video with Caleb and PCA after the game bit. PCA's got the Williams jersey on. He's got the bear claw. And look, and I will say the defense did not have a good game, but it is very, very interesting to see at the end of the day, Montez Sweat with 6 pressures, some 3 hurries, a couple hits, 2 TFL, and then Austin Booker with more tackles, getting a sack, some pressures, and some hurries. Austin Booker has stepped up huge late in this season. He's become probably the second best. No, he's become the second best rusher on this team behind Montez Sweat. I don't think that he will be a sustainable second option going forward. I mean, we'll have to see what they do in the offseason. But, if this team is serious about winning a Super Bowl and they want to continue to apply pressure, they go out and get a premier pass rusher in free agency or trade for a guy or they pick a rookie defensive end, because defensive end and the edge rusher category is a very deep position class in NFL this season. And it's like, look, we can acknowledge as well, like, there's two sides of this coin. And there are some people who will say, like, well, they won, so they're free of criticism. But also some people that be like, they didn't win by 40 points. I'm not pleased. You know, it's a bit of a hyperbole, but, you know, some people will look at a game that the team came back from and found a way to win in a very exciting way and just be upset the whole time, just like they should have won this game earlier. And, like, that can be true, but we can also appreciate the performances and the moments that got us to this, that got us the win, despite not everything being perfect, right? Because the defense did not play good in this game. But, again, as you said, Vinny, made some clutch plays and were a big part of why we came back in the second half. That third quarter from the defense is the entire reason why that game isn't a blowout by the time the Bears offense wakes up and finds the end zone. That's just the case. That's just reality. So, yeah. You know, I don't know. And honestly, it's like, I would invest almost, if not all, of the draft picks this offseason on the defensive side of the football. Because clearly the defense is incredibly flawed. But they rely on a lot of splash plays. And unfortunately... Oh, man, that's bright. The reality of it is, Javon Dexter is not back next season. Like, it's been cool having him. I love his sack celebration, giving up the just run up and give up the thumbs up. But as we kind of get to a point where we need to kind of make a decision on him, I think he's gone. You know, he has had 2 fumbles this season where he has had a chance to dive on it, and he can't dive on it. This one was much more costly. I think that he's gone. I think Dominique Robinson's probably going to be moving on. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, elevated from the practice squad, made a huge play on, I believe, in short, right before the Packers went for 4th down, and probably, I think it was the swing pass to Jaden. Or no, it was Jay tackle on 3rd and short, and then it was the 4th and 1 boot to Christian Watson, which he fumbled into the end zone, and it didn't, of course, go out of bounds, because, of course, it didn't. I mean, those 2 guys for sure. Job's not finished. Yeah, like, this team can still go. At this point, the Bears are playing with house money. Winning a playoff game exceeds expectations for a lot of people. You know, there are definitely people who will, you know, say, like, well, we had the first overall quarterback and blah, 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 blah. And all this talent, they should have won a playoff game this season, yada, yada, yada. But considering how last year ended and considering the talent on the team, probably going to find, like, going into the season, how many Bears fans thought they were going to find a way to lose a couple games they probably shouldn't have, either early or late. You know, and the road schedule at the beginning of the year was like a gauntlet. They won this division. Washington wasn't as good as we thought this season, but they were 3-2 going into that game that they played against the Bears. You know, Cincinnati wasn't as good as we thought. Baltimore wasn't as good as we thought, but they were in. But you know, it's like they found ways to win on the road again on a tough road schedule. Whoa. I didn't expect them to get a home playoff game, right? I didn't expect the Bears to be in a situation where they were playing at home in on Wild Card weekend. I thought if they were going to get into the playoffs, they'd be the 7th seed or the 6th seed. I'd be going on the road to play a team like Detroit or Philadelphia or maybe even Tampa Bay at the beginning of the season. I thought Tampa Bay was going to be much better than they actually ended up being. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at. In the very little games Dios played, he literally made 0 impact on that. Yep. Right when they made that signing, too, I was like, all right, sure, let's give Dio Dengbo a shot. But clearly he's got a big payday. And, you know, like, it's not just that he wasn't, he didn't play up to the contract at all or anything. He literally had no presence. Like, it felt like he was non-existent half the time when he was out there. Feel like he couldn't generate any pressure. Feels like he wasn't doing anything. Yep. Short story, great win. Green Bay sucks. Get ready for next week. Bear down. Yep. Absolutely. Oh. Let me just go through a couple things here. I mean, the big question that I now am kind of, we're kind of faced with is, internet hasn't been good this stream. A lot of lag for me. I'm so sorry, Vinny. It's been just really spotty ever since the game ended. I don't know what's going on. Just not a good day. A bad day to have bad internet. And I apologize for that. Now, in 3 games, Bears had 74 points. The Packers had 71. That's tight, man. It's been so tight all year long. I just knew it. Once the matchup was settled, I knew this game was going to come down to the very last play. The very last play. And, well, it came down to the very last play. Am I muted? We good? Anyways, here's Ben Johnson handshaking Matt LaFleur and Matt LaFleur being all pissy. So, yeah. Yeah. Let's go, Cole. You can talk to your sister again, because for those who don't know, Cole Kmet's sister is married to I don't remember if it's married or just dating Lucas Van Ness. You know, one of the players for the Green Bay Packers. So now Cole can talk to his sister again. And then, how about this, bro? Jordan pose. Cole Kmet absolutely deserves this. 100%. He's the longest tenured Bear along with Jalen Johnson. They were there to witness the playoff loss to New Orleans. And, you know, they've gone through the end of Matt Nagy, throughout the entirety of Matt Eberflus, through Justin Fields, through Luke Getsy, through Shane Waldron, through Chuck Pagano. Or actually, I don't even know if Chuck Pagano was with the team in 2020. But, you know, like, he is... Both Cole Kmet and Jalen Johnson have gone through a lot with this Bears team over the last 6 years. They absolutely deserve this and should relish in this moment. You can't take anything like this for granted. It's that team up north. Because, again, just the third ever playoff meeting between these two teams. Who knows what happens from here on out? Who knows? I gotta go head out. I gotta head out though. Bro, good stream. Hopefully we're having this reaction for next week. Go Bears! Thanks for stopping by, Vinny. Thanks for chatting it up. Thanks for being awesome. Bear the F down. Have a great night. Enjoy. Get some rest. Go to smile with a big old smile on your face for a Bears win. Oh my gosh. Anyways, now that the stream is starting to wrap up here. Yeah, if anyone else, of course, let's go. Let's go, man. Yeah. So now we're kind of running down here. We're going for about an hour here, and that's with all of this stuff. How about we end the stream here? Oh my goodness. How about we let's end the stream. Sorry. Let's end the stream on good, better, best. If anyone else is out there watching this stream and wants to drop a question or anything else, feel free to do so. But how about we go ahead and end this with playoffs over the Packers. Good, better, best. Alright, I'm gonna put this up. And here we go. Yeah, so how about we end this stream with playoffs, good, better, best. Let's do it, man. Oh, inject this into my veins, man. I'm gonna resize the window here, so we have the vertical. Oh my goodness. So we have the vertical, the full thing, and so we can get these black bars out of here. Disgusting. Cool. Good, better, best. Playoffs against the Packers. Injected it in my veins, coach. Oh, he said F the Packers. FTP. FTP. Oh, hold up. I'm just realizing there is no audio for anyone listening. So, my bad. Turn my fan off too so we can all enjoy this together. Start that over here. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Oh! Yeah, he did say it. He F the Packers.
You go into the tournament coming off of 2 losses, man. You go in the tournament off of 2 losses. You look up at halftime in this game, and it's 21-3. No panic. No panic. None of it built for pressure. That's you guys. And that's the first one. That's the first one. All right? That's what we had to do. All right? Now I got 3 game balls here. First one. All right, we had 8 catches, 130 plus yards.
Dude, Colson Lovell had an amazing game. Sucks he didn't get a touchdown, but he did get that 2-point conversion. That was all important.
We're so thankful, and to be here, and for all you guys, I'm proud of everyone here. But that's we got to keep this thing rolling. Let's enjoy it out of this.
Let's go. Let's go. Look, Tyson.
Defense, that a way to step it up there in the second half. That a way to step it up. One guy caught my eye, and it might not show up on the stat sheet, but he was around that quarterback the entire second half.
It's going to be Austin Booker.
Montez Sweat.
Ah, Sweat. It's Tez. Let's go, Tez. Yeah. He came through in the second half big time. Tez came through in the big half.
Just a credit to everybody
The second
in
half.
this room, bro. I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here without y'all.
I love some of these post games. Some guys like to say some things, some guys don't. And yeah.
Tell you what, man. 4th and 10. 4th and 10. I don't think either one of his feet was on the ground when he threw this ball. It's just straight ice.
Caleb's like, nice man. Nice man.
I said last night, you make your money in the regular season, but in the postseason, legacy, your name, everything, and so that's us. That's us. It's not me. I'm not, obviously, game ball or whatever. That's us. Us. I want to keep going. We have to get better. All right? We have to start. We have to be on the details. We have to execute. Pin all of that to be able to get where we want to go. And I want to be here. I want to do this with y'all. Yes, sir. So it starts tomorrow. It starts the next day.
What a great speech. Oh, he ain't done.
Years they said, it's the, haven't beaten, Green Bay or whatever since, whatever, right? Look at this guy right here. First playoff win. Everything he's done for us as a coach, everything the other coaches have done for us. And it started with him, with bringing in everybody and all of that, right? And for me personally, he's been, get emotional. For me personally, he's been monumental in my life so far.
Yeah. That's nothing wrong with that.
So, to his first playoff win as a Chicago Bear.
Let's go, Ben. Oh, man.
You make sure when you talk to the media, you talk to them how this crowd tonight made a difference.
Oh, yeah.
They made a difference, all right? Man, I'm so proud of you guys. To do what you just did, I said it at halftime, right? This is one that you'll never forget. Yes, sir. This is one you'll never forget, all right? Bring it on in.
Bring it on in. Give it to me. Inject it in my veins, coach. Bears! Ah! Bear down! Bear down! Oh my goodness. It's happened. You know, if you asked me how the Bears would get their first playoff win in 15 years, I would have never said they would do it against the Packers. I never thought they would do it being down 18 in the at halftime. I would never thought they would have done that going down 15 in the fourth quarter. I would never said that with how their defense let up 3 touchdowns on 3 drives to start the game. You know, if they were going to win a playoff game, to me it felt like, and this isn't like just specifically this team specifically, but just in general, how this team was going to find a way to win a playoff game. It was going to be probably like I wouldn't have felt confident unless they would have dominated from start to finish. They would have been the better team, or they would have pulled off a shocking upset against a team that overlooked the Bears. Then they surprised people. In my wildest dreams, I would have never predicted or would have never thought that the Bears' first playoff win in 15 would be in a game where they were down 21-3. They were down 21-6 to open the fourth quarter. They were down 27-16 with like 5 minutes to go. And much less, like, forget all that. Then you compound that with it being against the Green Bay Packers, that team up north. If that's the way that you told me 5 years ago, after they had lost to the New Orleans Saints, that they would win their first playoff game in 15 years against the Packers, down 18 at halftime, down 15 in the fourth quarter, down 11 with 5 minutes to go, I would have thought you would have been nuts. But that just happened. That was real. And we get to celebrate. The rest of the season, honestly, in my opinion, regardless of what happens next week, I don't really care. I don't really care what happens next week. They win, that's amazing. That's 2 wins in the same playoffs. If they, after not making the playoffs for 5 years in a row and going 5-12 last year, if they lose next week, you beat Green Bay in the playoffs. You sent them packing, and possibly sent Matt LaFleur packing. There really does feel like these last 2 Bears-Packers games was a shift in everything, like a ginormous shift in the momentum of this rivalry of these 2 teams. It feels like the trajectory has changed. It feels like the Bears are only going to get better. And it feels like depending on what happens in this offseason for the Green Bay Packers, they could either stagnate where they're at here or start a slow decline. I don't think that they'll, go down to 4-13. That's just not going to happen. That's unrealistic to have happen unless, major changes are made. At the top, Matt LaFleur gets fired. Jeff Hafley gets hired somewhere else. The guys they bring in stink. Jordan Love is traded. They lose guys like Micah Parsons pretty soon. That would be what needs to happen for this team for the Packers to truly become terrible. But it feels like we might be at a crossroads in this rivalry. We might be at a crossroads in the history of these 2 teams. The momentum feels like it's shifting. I didn't think that the pendulum really was shifting after their win 3 weeks ago. I was like, that's a huge flash in the pan victory. all that, and if they had lost this game, it's like, okay, one team still has the advantage in the series. One team still has the momentum, and it's the Packers. But these last 2 wins truly feel like pendulum shifting. It really does feel like the rivalry is going to start to turn back into the Bears' favor. I don't know. It feels like a franchise-altering win / franchise-altering loss. This feels like a game that we're going to look back on in a couple of years and see the domino effect about what happens. We're going to look back on this game like we are, especially from a Bears perspective, we're going to look back on this game like in like 5 years as we do what happened in Indianapolis at the end of the 2022 season, where Davis Mills throws a Hail Mary pass to Jordan Akins, and Lovie Smith leads that Houston Texans team out of the first overall pick. The Bears get it, execute the trade with Carolina, and it rewards them Caleb Williams, Luther Burden, Darnell Wright, Tyreek Stevenson, and I think 1 or 2 other pieces, I forget. But, we're going to be looking at this game as one of those domino effect games. I think that's what it feels like. Anyways, I'm done. I am exhausted right now, but obviously I'm going to have to, come up with, retread with some points here, because I got to record a video, and the Chicago Bears have won a playoff game for the first time in 15 years, and they did it against the Green Bay Packers. Life sure is great like this. Well, I should let you all go. Mostly anyone who is, still awake on the Western and Eastern conferences should be going to bed anyways. It's, 1 or 2 in the morning, depending on Central Eastern time zone. And it's already past midnight if you're in the Mountain time zone. So I should probably stop. I don't think we're really going to be getting anything else from anyone. So, yeah, that's the end of the stream. The Bears did it. The Bears freaking did it. Oh, I never showed this. Break out the cheese graters, everybody. There's a stereotype about Americans that they love cheese in America. I've never heard of a true statement ever, because I love cheese. Like, cheese on anything. Not everything, though. Funnily enough, I'm not a massive fan of cheesecake. Cheesecake is not my thing. But, queso. I like a good za. You think about, like, traditional pizza. There's so much more cheese on American pizza. Pizza that, originated out here in America. There's, cheese fits in so many different ways. But for 3 hours, 2 times a year, and in this case 3, I hate cheese. And this is why you have the cheese grater. I want to give a shout out to my brother and his girlfriend for thinking of this as a Christmas gift the week after the Bears beat the Packers 3 weeks ago, because Christmas was right around the corner. So they got me a cheese grater as a bit of a joke gift. And it's kind of fun, and I love it a lot. Even though I honestly might never use this, or I take it somewhere where I move. Whenever I end up moving. But yeah, They did it, man. They've slayed the dragon. They've conquered the boogeyman. Slayed the demons. The curse, if you want to say. All the bad luck, all the heartbreaking losses over the last 30 years. Feels like these last 2 games have made it all worth it. To go through all of that pain and suffering at the hands of that team up north. To then usurp them for the NFC North Division title. And then beat their asses in the playoffs in comeback fashion in the most devastating way, heartbreaking way for the Packers to channel the last 15 years of pain for the Chicago Blackhawks. Why am I thinking about the Hawks right now? The last 15 years of pain for the Chicago Bears and force it all back on the Packers in 2 games. I mean, I will say one thing. The Packers, they'll win in the regular season. They will beat up on bad teams for the most part. And I didn't forget about that Cleveland game week 3. They will take care of business against weaker teams. And they will win against teams that they've historically played well against. But they leave some just brutal losses for the playoffs. Just brutal to the playoffs. Like, the last 10 years, some of these playoff losses just absolutely deflating. Couldn't have happened to a better organization. So yeah. Green Bay sucks. Bear the F down. I've never bared down harder in my life. And again, just like 3 weeks ago, I will not be screaming at the top of my lungs in the reaction video. That's for the live reaction, and everything. So, happened. They've conquered the demons, slayed the dragon, taken out the boogeyman, whatever analogy you want to make. The Bears beat the Packers in the playoffs. It's just going to be great waking up tomorrow and being able to watch football and just not be sitting there all frustrated that my team lost to the Packers. All right, that's it for me. I gotta settle down. This video is going to be long. Dude, the reaction video last time was 40 minutes. Dude, is it really going to be 40 minutes again? I hope it's not. I hope it's not 40 minutes again, honestly. But I wouldn't be surprised if it is. So, I might be up a long time. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, good night, everyone. Have a great football Sunday. We'll find out who the Bears play next week. The Bears are playing next week. We'll find out who they play. And, start preparing for a divisional round home game in Chicago. All right. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.